There are about 30,000 people left there picking their way through the rubble, still in need of food. We're hearing from aid agencies here. They still don't have permission to kind of go in on their own to assist the people left there. But again, the level of distress is really quite enormous. One of the other things that we saw there, and this is something that the Syrian government wanted us to see, were the network of tunnels underneath the city of Douma, because Douma was an opposition stronghold all the way back to 2011 and the start of the war. And they've managed to survive in a way because of the level of bombardment. The Syrian government want us to see that because it's very sophisticated, and they say it shows that the rebels must have been having a great deal of financial assistance from outside sources backing them, like Saudi Arabia, for example. So that's just one small taste of what we've seen so far.
One small taste, as you say, but you are there, we have to point out, at an especially tense time with Israel and Iran stepping up their attacks against Syria and the region. How is that playing out in your conversations there?
Well, again, our conversations aren't entirely free. We do not talk to people without a government minder being present. So we all take that into consideration. But a lot of people are distrustful of all sides of the narrative here. Certainly, most Syrians have no great love in their hearts for Israel. So it becomes a very layered conversation when you are having it. We did have a conversation with a retired Syrian army general who is very much a person who is in support of the regime here, who said, look, we have the right to choose the allies that we have, which is Iran. It is Mr. Putin. He's supporting us in the war. It is Hezbollah next door in Lebanon. Because as we know, the Israelis last week, the foreign minister, Lieberman, had said to the Syrians, if you want to stop these missile attacks coming in into your country, get rid of the Iranians, tell them to leave. Because Syria, of course, and Israel have a very tense relationship. Israel captured the Golan Heights from Syria back in 1967 and then later annexed it illegally. That's the source of contention between them, the main one. But they still have managed to live without open conflict all these years. And the message from Israel is that's going to change if you don't get the Iranians out of Syria, because they say the Iranians are trying to use Syria as a launching pad for attacks against the Jewish state. The Syrian government here, of course, says nothing doing, and there's a reason for that, and that is because Iran has been assisting the Syrian military in this civil war in the country that's now been going on for 7 years.
Margaret, thank you for that. That is our Margaret Evans reporting from Damascus. Now, this conversation does continue. We're wrapping up here on News Network, but Margaret is in Syria right now, as we say, in Damascus. She is accompanied by a government representative, but she is there to answer your questions about what she's seeing on the ground. You can ask your questions on our CBC News Facebook page or YouTube channel. Just head over to those sites, pose your questions in the comment section, and you can follow the conversation there. But right now here on News Network, we're going to take a turn as North Korea promises to dismantle its nuclear test site in the next 10 days. This announcement coming ahead of a meeting between the country's leader and the U.S. President Donald Trump. That's going to take place next month. And coming up, we're going to speak to the Munk Center's Brian Stewart. We're going to talk more about Trump's foreign policy, his meeting in Korea, or in Singapore with North Korea, and what it means going forward about his administration. Stay with us.